back, Elaine, to the Zoom room for another Art of Letting Go live course session. So let's jump into today's email with a daily quote, bit of teaching, and that'll lead us nicely in to today's lesson. And we'll also look at the introduction to the workbook. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen with you. Okay, so you can read that headline quote for us to kick it off, kindly.
The world we see merely reflects our own internal frame of reference. The dominant ideas, wishes, and emotions in our minds. Projection makes perception. Text introduction to chapter 21. We look inside first, decide the kind of world we want to see, and then project that world outside, making it the truth as we see it. We make it true by our interpretations of what it is we are seeing. If we are using perception to justify our own mistakes, our anger, our impulses to attack, our lack of love in whatever form it may take, we will see a world of evil, destruction, malice, envy, and despair. All this we must learn to forgive, not because we are being good and charitable, but because what we are seeing is not true.
So that's from the preface to the text. A very pertinent quote that tells us exactly what the world is. Just a projection of our own dominant ideas, desires, and emotions. And also why we should forgive or let go of it. Not because we're so, quote, spiritual or enlightened, which can be just another false self-concept that causes more false projections and perceptions. The, infamous spiritual ego. But because nothing that you perceive outside of you is real. If it's not real, then to judge it as real by reacting to it emotionally is to make the mistake of reinforcing the seeming reality of this world and the false separated self-concept that made it up. As soon as you react to it emotionally, you've made it real. And that's, of course, what the ego wants you to do. In truth, we can't judge anyone or anything because what we are judging isn't really there. So any seeming results of our judgment must also be false. As Yeshua tells us very explicitly in this slightly modified translated passage from this, section 10 of the Manual for Teachers, which answers the question, how is judgment relinquished? So if you can read that.
It is necessary for the teacher of perfect love to realize not that he should not judge, but that he cannot. In giving up judgment, he is merely giving up what he did not have. He gave up an illusion, or better, he has an illusion of giving up. He has actually merely become more honest, recognizing that judgment was always impossible for him. He no longer attempts it. This is no sacrifice. On the contrary, he puts himself in a position where judgment through him rather than by him can occur, and this judgment is neither good nor bad. It is the only judgment there is, and it is only one perfect love extension. Is innocent and sin does not exist.
Okay, so what it's saying is the only true judgment is that everyone is completely innocent because nothing they seem to say or do has really happened, therefore has no effect on their or your true reality, which is eternally unchangeable and therefore invulnerable to whatever you may think has happened. That's why no judgment, non-judgment rests on the truth that none of it's true. But what you're judging isn't real. If you can accept this fundamental premise of Yeshua's teachings, and everything you perceive in the seemingly external universe must also logically be false. Therefore, your ability to forgive or let go ultimately depends on faith. Will you accept this fundamental premise or will you deny it? That's the question. And you can't do both. They contradict each other. Stated another way, will you let go of your mental and emotional attachments to the people, things, events, and circumstances that seem to exist in this world, which means you must have accepted the premise that they are not true? Or will you allow the ego's reactive thoughts and emotions that cover over or negate the truth that only pure formless awareness of perfect love is real to dominate your mind and drown out the Holy Spirit's voice that reminds you of the truth? So those are the choices. You make the world real and you attach to it and react to it, or you don't. You let it go and find a way to overlook it. Whenever you read and reflect on one of Yeshua's mind training lessons from the workbook and use it to help you let go of any negative or negative, as I prefer saying, thoughts and emotions, such as anger, attack thoughts, what the quote calls lack of love in whatever form it may take. You accept the premise that none of these thoughts and emotions are real. And neither are the people, things, events, and circumstances that seem to justify them. But in our consumer society, it's all too easy to lose ourselves in fantasies of trying to satisfy our desires and the body's apparent needs, as we read yesterday in the text reading on distortions of miracle impulses. And so we get mesmerized by the world of form. That's just an optical delusion of consciousness, as Einstein called it. If you can read this quote. Elaine, you muted, I think. Just read the quote. A human being is part
sorry,
of the
yes,
whole.
I'm just talking. I didn't realize. Yeah, a human being is a part of the whole called by us universe. A part limited in time and space, he experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. Albert Einstein.
Which is it's hardly a scientific quote, is it? It's very philosophical.
No, yeah,
Not much scientific.
I'm actually watching a film about him. He went through a lot of hardship, didn't he, in the war? He was a Jew. Realized he was a Jew. And funny enough, I spoke to Dave about him and he said, I said, do you remember Albert Einstein? He says, yeah, he was that scientist, but he said he was a bit, and he had to think of a word. He said he was a bit of a romancer. And I said, no, I said he was just born too soon. People didn't understand him. But Dave, he's the old school. It said he was known as a romancer because people didn't understand his concept. Well, not concepts, his knowing of God, really.
Well, it's a very interesting career because he was a scientific genius and claimed by he was very famous in the first half of his career for the theory of relativity and did some work on photons and light. Only got one Nobel Prize, actually, which was astonishing. He didn't get a Nobel Prize for the theory of relativity. And then in the last half of his career, so he went in about 1930 to the US. He taught at Princeton University. And after that, it was like, well, all of that creativity and new theories, it all stopped. And people went, well, what happened? Did he just lose his mojo? Or I think he because he'd done
He's,
all the scientific work and he understood, he was trying to find the grand unified theory. That was his mission, to try and unify all of the different laws. There's 4 different kinds of forces in the physical universe: the magnetism, and the strong nuclear and the weak nuclear force, and then gravity. So he was trying to find a theory that would encompass all of them and be able to frame it in a nice, a very elegant mathematical equation. It was like, okay, that this is a grand unified theory of the universe, and that was his quest, because he was seeking unity, but he was seeking it in the construct of separation, in the projection of separation. So he never found it. No one has, and I don't think anyone ever will. Because how can you find unity in something that is designed by the ego to be separate and stay fragmented and apart? You have to transcend it. And I think he started to do that in the second half of his life. And these kinds of quotes came out, and he was very philosophical. In the end, he became more of a philosopher than a scientist. Because this is a profoundly spiritual quote that he's talking about spiritual ideas and concepts more than science. So this was, his evolution. He was a scientist who graduated into a philosopher and was thinking very deeply about the nature of, life, the universe, and everything. I don't think he was fully enlightened. I think maybe he was still struggling to reconcile, the science with these kind of philosophical beliefs, and he maybe never did, because in the end you must choose. The scientists ultimately, if they follow the to the end of where their science takes them, will become a mystic, because it will take them beyond time and space. As he started to see the limits of time and space. But time and space, I mean, his key insight really was that time and space are relative. They're not absolute. So there's nothing absolute at all about time and space. They're relative to each other. They change, they shift. So, space bends. That's his theory of gravity was that space bends. Matter tells space how to curve, and space tells matter where to go. That was kind of the summary of the theory of relativity. But it's all relative. There's no absolute sort of fixed, okay, there's absolute reality. Even time is relative. It's relative to how fast you're traveling. Time changes when you travel at the speed of light. So is it absolute? No, not at all. Theory of relativity is really, saying that the world is all relative. There are no fixed laws. It's not absolute, it's relative. And so, don't look to absolute reality, to something that's relative. That was a major contribution philosophically of what theory of relativity was saying. And then quantum mechanics came along in the 1920s and said pretty much the same thing in a different way. There is no reality in the absence of observation. That's even more profound, quantum mechanics. And he struggled with that. He never fully accepted quantum mechanics. I don't think he could quite get his head around it. He was looking, you see, his phrase was, God does not play dice with the universe. Have you heard that saying? That was a quote. Because he was talking about quantum mechanics, and he couldn't accept that there was just this kind of random uncertainty, and that it was all, very random, just completely probability driven. He was looking for some transcendent truth, which he called God, no doubt. And so I don't think he would accept the random nature of quantum mechanics. So he was to reconcile this spiritual knowledge, understanding that there was a higher power with science, with his science, and he struggled and never quite did it, because in the end you can't. The one denies the other. Science really talks about the how. It says, how did this happen? And it goes from the premise of, okay, there was this big bang, and then they explain it after that, okay, and then the universe cooled and it's been expanding ever since, and these various laws developed, and science describes all of that how it happened, but it doesn't answer the question why. I have no idea why. That's a philosophical question, and so he was asking why. He was probing into these great mysteries, trying to find a why, and then incorporate it into some grand unified theory. But the why transcends all illusion. So what he didn't understand is that you can't reconcile these. You have to let go entirely of the entire dream world in order to find the truth. And that truth then makes complete logical sense. It's not contradictory to itself or any aspects of it, of the illusion in any way. So a very interesting guy, and became more philosophical and scientist. And these ideas are, profoundly spiritual. Actually, this quote could have been said by a mystic. You look at this, and this is understands the nature of reality, that it's an illusion. Could easily have been said by some guru, Indian yogi or guru, and you wouldn't know, would you? It's like, yeah, well, that could well be a guru. So he was think of a very spiritual, deeply
down.
philosophical, spiritual man, and became more so towards the end of his life. If you look at that picture, and we've looked at this before, but it's a good example of the illusion. So you look at it, and when I first looked at it, I saw a boat on an ocean. It was around the time of COVID, because everyone had sort of fantasies of traveling. So it was like, well, if you can't travel, then what do you fantasize about? Travel. And so it was like, I saw it as a boat initially, just on first glance. And then if you look more carefully, you can kind of see that it's actually a cheesecake. But you said you saw something else. You saw a shark.
Yeah.
So there you've got three different perceptions of the same image, which just shows you that, all of this is perceptual rather than absolute. One person sees a shark, another sees a boat, another sees a cheesecake. Who's right?
Yeah.
It is actually a photo of a cheesecake, but if you wanted to see it as a shark or a boat, then that is your reality that you create in that moment. That's what's real for you. All right, so that good illustration of that, and there's other similar kind of pictures that you can, you can see. You've probably seen those ones. There's a woman, and she's in one view of the picture, she's a young woman, and in another one, she's an old woman. Those kinds of things.
Yeah,
just depends on perspective.
Yeah, I've seen those.
No, so because what's reality then? Reality is perceptual. You see her as an old woman, then that's your reality. You see her as a young woman, that's your reality. And they don't mix. You can't see both. That's the only limitation.
Yeah.
So this optical delusion of consciousness, as he calls it, causes us to forget who we really are, which is eternally free, happy self or Christ, in the Course in Miracles terminology, and the transcendent reality it lives in and by, that Yeshua calls heaven and God. We call pure formless awareness of perfect love. So to help you make the right choice again, I've given you the guided letting go theta meditation. It's original and shorter forms. Did you get that? So you can listen to it in just half an hour if you want. And there's another recorded discussion about the benefits of meditation. So in this session, they mentioned that there are hundreds of scientifically rigorous studies that show positive effects on the brain structure of regular meditators. Things like increases in brain density in areas associated with self-awareness, love, and compassion. Reduction in the size of the amygdala, the primal part of the brain responsible for emotions like fear, and triggering the fight or flight response by activating the sympathetic nervous system. Someone had a question about being really spaced out. So I just showed her after a meditation, I showed her 3 quick breathing techniques that you can do after a meditation to re-energize you, bring your attention back into the present moment and enable you to function in a state of flow. So I already showed you one. Just go. And you just do that for 30 seconds or a minute, and there's no doubt that it gets blood flowing, energy moving, and is likely to just re-energize you and give you a bit of a pep up. So I also mentioned 2 of the primary benefits of meditation are that they help the practitioner to zoom in, focus on what they're doing in the present moment, which is the basis of all skillful action, as the Buddhists call it, and the essence of being in flow. Right? A focused, concentrated, type of flow. And then the zooming out is entering a state that transcends the body, to rise above the battleground, as Yeshua calls it in A Course in Miracles. You get a higher perspective on whatever you're experiencing in your life. You let go of any negative thoughts and emotions, i.e. you forgive. So zooming in, focus, concentration, getting into the flow, but also being able to zoom out and rise above the battleground. Meditation can do both of those things in the same session. So it can be advanced mind training. You're allowed to be. Okay, so there's a session. You can listen to it if you want. And there's a very well-referenced article. So if you want to find out more about the benefits, 12 science-based benefits of meditation, you're going to read that. But you know, meditation has been shown many research studies to really improve your health and well-being, improve your focus, your concentration, apart from happiness and peace. Other things start to get sorted out on a physical level as well. Okay, so that brings us to our mind training lesson. So any comments or questions about that?
No, that's good. Yeah, that's clear.
Good. All right, so let's embark on a mind training lesson. There's an introduction to it, so have a look at the introduction. Okay, so we're going to read, if you read the introduction to start with.
A theoretical foundation such as the text provides is necessary as a framework to make the exercises in the workbook meaningful. Yet it is doing the exercises that will make the goal of the course possible. An untrained mind can accomplish nothing. It is the purpose of the workbook to train your mind to think along the lines the text sets forth.
Okay. I think that's fairly clear.
Yeah, I've gone over that a few times.
So this is mind training. This is about helping us to actually think according to the thought system that's been taught us in the text. And we can actually apply it in practice to practical situations that arise in our life. So the text is a theory, the workbook is the application of the theory, and it's designed to help you to apply the principles and the teachings to your daily life in a very practical way. Okay, so carry on. 2.
The exercises are very simple. They do not require a great deal of time and does not matter where you do them. They need no preparation. The training period is 1 year. The exercises are numbered from 1 to 365. Do not undertake to do more than one set of exercises a day. Yes, so again, self-explanatory.
Yeah, just saying actually not a lot of time, any preparation, just follow the process, 1 to 365, and just do one a day. So that's the caveat. Don't do more than one a day. So the idea is you dilute your focus. You do more than one a day. You don't dedicate the time necessary to each lesson to learn it. If you do one a day, it's like, okay, I've just got to learn, absorb, apply this particular lesson, and then I do that fully for a day, and then I move on. Which makes a lot of sense. Okay, carry on. Number 3 is just telling us a bit about the workbook structure.
The workbook is divided into 2 main sections. The first dealing with the undoing of the way you see now, and the second with the acquisition of true perception. With the exception of the review periods, each day's exercises are planned around one central idea, which is stated first. This is followed by a description of the specific procedures by which the idea for the day is to be applied.
How this is going to work, each day's exercises, there's one key idea, and then you have some more detail and a description of what the procedures are. Okay, number 4.
The purpose of the workbook is to train your mind in a systematic way to a different perception of everyone and everything in the world. The exercises are planned to help you generalize the lessons so that you will understand that each of them is equally applicable to everyone and everything you see.
Yeah, so thoughts on that?
It's just done in a very systematic way. It's, again, pretty sort of self-explanatory, isn't it? So that,
I think the key point is that each one is applicable to each idea is applicable to everyone and everything. So it's a comprehensive idea is to apply it to everything you experience that day, to everyone and everything you see, rather than making exceptions. It is to generalize the lessons rather than, most learning, the learning of the world is very specific. And so it fragments and cuts up knowledge and says, well, there's, you're going to specialize in this little component. And then we go and we study that aspect, even of a subject, one subject. There's many kind of aspects and sub-aspects. What this is trying to get us to do is move from the specific to the general. Whereas the ego's curriculum moves us from the general to the specific. It tells us the more specific you get, the better. The specificity implies specialness and separation, doesn't it? So that's the world's training, tries to get you to be more and more specific, move away from the general and into the specifics and focus on those, because that's what you have to do, the world says, in order to be a specialist, in order to be a specialist in your field and be able to usually earn a living from it. You have to specialize and you have to get very specific. Whereas this is actually teaching us to go the other way and generalize the lessons. Start with the specific lessons, but generalize them so that they all ultimately merge into one awareness. That makes sense?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so number 5, transfer of training and true perception.
Transfer of training in true perception does not proceed as does transfer of the training of the world. If true perception has been achieved in connection with any person, situation, or event, total transfer to everyone and everything is certain. On the other hand, one exception held apart from true perception makes its accomplishment anywhere impossible.
Okay. He's talking about true perception, transfer of training. So if we get it in one instance fully, then it will apply to everything because it's generalizable. These principles are generalizable. If we hold one exception apart from true perception, it makes its accomplishments anyway impossible. Kind of an all or nothing deal. So we must, he says, it's another point, of course, this course will be believed entirely or not at all. You can't, there's no half measure. You either buy into it entirely and you listen, or not at all. You reject it. So then you've got to find an alternative teaching. Okay. So number 6, happy to move on. The only general rules to be observed throughout then are
The only general rules to be observed throughout then are first, that the exercises be practiced with great specificity. Oh, I can't say it. Specificity.
oh,
Specificity. It's quite a bit of a tongue tie, that word.
Yeah.
As will be indicated. This will help you to generalize the ideas involved to every situation which you find yourself and to everyone and everything in it. Second, be sure that you do not decide for yourself that there are some people, situations, or things to which the ideas are inapplicable. This will interfere with transfer of training. The very nature of true perception is that there has no limits, that it has no limits. It is the opposite of the way you see now.
Yeah, so what's he saying in that one?
Well, we need to be specific in great specificity.
Yeah, so it starts with the specific and then moves us to the general. This will help you to generalize the ideas involved to every situation which you find yourself and to everyone and everything in it. Which is the intention of the workbook, to move us from the specific to the general. The world's training moves us from the general to the specific. You probably heard, oh well, you just if you're too general, then it's no good. You need to be specific in what you focus on. This is the kind of career guidance I'm getting. Career guidance. No, you need to focus on one thing, one area of expertise, and go into that in specificity. Be specific, because otherwise you're just going to be a generalist. You're going to be no good to anyone. You probably heard that argument. And people would do general degrees, like they studied classics or languages or whatever. Often very intelligent, well-rounded people, but there's no specific application for their degree. So in terms of getting a job, they're going to struggle. So what it's become the education system about largely now is not let's just get an education to broaden our horizons and start thinking a bit more laterally and expansively. It becomes I'm doing this because I want to get there's a specific outcome. I want to get a job. And then some of these universities are even saying, well, this is the kind of salary you can expect when you come to us. Our graduates get these kinds of salaries. I mean, it's over the top. As Simon Sinek says, so what are you? Are you educators? Is it about educating, or is it about producing financial results? You need to decide, because education should be independent of the results. Like, no, you come to get a quality education in whatever you choose to do, and then we're not our job as the educational institution is not to guarantee you a certain salary, because then you're starting to become outcome oriented rather than process oriented. Anyway, so to come back to this, in terms of the specific general dynamic, he's saying start with the specific. So you're going to be asked to practice specifically with these ideas and do specific exercises, but that will move you in the opposite direction of the world and will help you to generalize these ideas. So you're moving from the specific to the general rather than from the general to the specific, which is the ego's way. Okay, and then secondly, you sure you don't decide for yourself. This is a key one, that there's some situations that this doesn't apply to. The lesson doesn't apply to. So then you're just limiting your learning. The very nature of true perceptions, it has no limits, is the opposite of the way you see now. So we're very tempted. I think this is a key guidance for the workbook. It's very tempting to make exceptions, isn't it? Say, oh well, no, in this instance, I'm not going to apply this teaching.
Yeah.
And then, because we've made an exception, the ego's got a stronghold in our mind in that area where we've made an exception. The idea of true perception is it has no limits. The very nature of true perception is there's no limits is the opposite of the way you see now. So it's being very clear, saying actually you don't see this way now, but you can. With this kind of mind training, you can learn to see this way. All right, so you okay with that? Number
Yeah.
6, let's number 7.
Yeah. The overall aim of the exercise is to increase your ability to extend the ideas you will be practicing to include everything. This will require no effort on your part. The exercises themselves meet the conditions necessary for this kind of transfer.
Yeah, what's he saying in that one?
Well, the exercises that are given to us has the ability to extend to everything, and it's to conclude everything. And it shouldn't require any effort.
Because they designed that way. What he's saying is he's designed the course exactly to do this. So if we do his course properly, then there's no extra effort required. The exercises meet the conditions necessary for this kind of transfer by design. So we just have to do it, go through this process. Process that's been laid out for us and surrender to it. All right, so number 8, some of the ideas the workbook presents.
Some of the ideas the workbook presents you will find hard to believe, and others may seem to be quite startling. This does not matter. You are merely asked to apply the ideas as you are directed to do. You are not asked to judge them at all. You are asked only to use them. It is their use that will give them meaning to you and will show you that they are true.
Yeah, so what's he saying in that one?
Just follow the instructions and don't deviate.
Really asked to apply as you're directed to do, or asked to judge them at all, or asked only to use it. So he's trying to make it really simple. He's saying, look, just do it. Follow the instructions, do the exercises, even if you don't fully understand or believe. You start off with nothing and I see means anything. It's like, well, what is this? What is this all about? It's a bit weird. It's a bit strange. And then he qualifies this in number 9 by saying, remember only this. Want to read that?
Remember only this. You need not believe the ideas. You need not accept them. And you need not even welcome them. Some of them you may actively resist. None of this will matter or decrease their efficacy. But do not allow yourself to make exceptions in applying the ideas the workbook contains. And whatever your reactions to the ideas may be, use them. Nothing more than that is required.
So again, being very clear, you don't even have to believe the ideas. You don't have to accept them. You don't have to welcome them. You might actively resist some ideas. And none of it will matter if you just do the exercises. And then just use whatever reactions to the ideas. Use them as part of the practice. Nothing more than that is required. So very interesting instructions. He's just saying, well, you don't really actually have to do very much. I've made it very simple. They're designed to facilitate this full transfer of training and help you generalize the lessons if you just do them. So just do them, just do it, and trust the process. But if you do them, then the results will come. That's what they're designed. They're designed by Yeshua to awaken you. And you've got to, he's really asking you to trust him, isn't it? So just trust me. I know what I'm doing. I've designed this course very carefully because I know where you are and I know how tricky your ego is. And I've designed the workbook to help you to really apply these ideas and start undoing your ego. And all you have to do is just follow. You don't have to agree on any of this. You don't have to plan the curriculum. Just follow it's kind of paint by numbers. Those drawings where you connect the dots.
Yeah.
You actually don't know what it's all going to look like when you start connecting the dots, do you? But if you just keep going step by step, okay, I'll connect that dot to that dot. It's very logical. Then the picture starts forming and you start seeing what it is. And then this is the same. Just, okay, you don't have to know the whole picture to start with. In fact, you won't know the whole picture. That's precisely why you need the mind training. That's why, to use the analogy, you need to connect the dots because you can't draw the whole picture. You don't know. So you need this very simple mind training process to help you to connect those dots and start awakening. And that's exactly what he's designed the workbook to do. So he's saying, well, just surrender to this, surrender to me. He's really asking us to trust him as our guide and teacher. And just do it, the next thing. Pretty simple. Just do the exercises and the results will come in time. And I think, just stick at it and keep doing them every day and shift will happen. I've done them every day for 18 years, still learning. But if I look back compared with what my understanding was 18 years ago, it's really dramatically different. It's advanced hugely. And that just happened by consistently doing the exercises. Yes, I've been reading the text as well. Just plugging away. Just step by step, just plug away. And you'll get there. That's what he's saying. So it's very encouraging. Which is what he's trying to do. He's trying to encourage us and say, look, this isn't actually that difficult. Just go with the instructions and follow this. And you'll see for yourself experientially. All right. So any other thoughts on the introduction? I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Sets the scene nicely, makes it very simple for us, very clear. Okay, this is what you've got to do. Don't overcomplicate it. Just keep it really simple. Just practice the lesson as I suggest. And you don't have to do anything more than that. If you do that, then the workbook will work for you and you will start to generalize these lessons. All right, so that's the intro done. So we'll move on to today's lesson. So this recording. So this is lesson 1 of the workbook. We start again from lesson 1. And I have to say, he just kind of dives straight into this, doesn't he? There's no sort of soft landing. Oh, well, I'll just sort of warm you up with a few lessons that are a bit sort of gentler. This is just straight in there. Nothing I see means anything. Okay. So can you remember when you first did this lesson, what was your reaction?
Didn't really make a lot of sense.
Hmm. Did you find it was a bit strange? Thought it was a
Yeah,
bit
a little
odd.
bit, yeah. A little bit, yeah.
Practicing it, it feels a bit weird. You're like, okay, well, what am I doing? He's asked me to look
Yeah,
at the
it seemed a bit
table
sort
and
of,
go,
it seemed a
there's
bit
no
strange, yeah.
table does not mean anything. What am I doing? I'm talking to a table, a chair. This foot does not mean anything. So the reason why he's given us the intro is because just to prepare us for this, because it's going to be a bit strange and odd to start with. But as you practice it, you do see the methodology.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's read it. It's very short and sweet. The first few ones are. The idea is just to keep it very brief. It's one key idea. So if you can if you can read that key idea.
Now looks, oh, you mean read the nothing I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place means anything.
Yeah,
Now
so
I,
like just apply it wherever you are. So you're in a room, nothing I see in this room means anything. Nothing I see means anything. It's quite a mind-blowing idea.
mm,
And then he's asking us to, again, apply it specifically to whatever we see. So it's a general principle, but apply it to the table, the chair, whatever you happen to see, near or far, and indiscriminately. So we'll do this exercise just now. Let's just read the sort of instructions. So notice that these statements, you want to read that, are not arranged in any order.
then look farther away from your immediate area and apply the idea to a wider range. That door does not mean anything. That body does not mean anything. That lamp does not mean anything. That sign does not mean anything. That shadow does not mean anything. Notice that these three statements are not arranged in any order and make no allowances for differences in the kinds of things to which they are applied. That is the purpose of the exercise. Your statement should merely be applied to anything you see. As you practice the idea for the day, use it totally indiscriminately. Do not attempt to apply it to everything you use, for these exercises should not become realistic.
Ritualistic.
Ritualistic, yeah. Only be sure that nothing you see is specifically excluded. One thing is like another as far as the application of the idea is concerned.
Oh, so he's just telling us how to practice this, and this is an instruction he's going to repeat in the next few lessons. That the idea is don't make exceptions, apply it to everything indiscriminately, whatever that happens to be. Because he's trying to get us to generalize the lesson to everything. So there's no exceptions we're making. Don't exclude something specifically. One thing is exactly like another as far as the application of the idea. So these are all encompassing. Nothing I see means anything. It applies to everything. Whether it's inanimate or animate, whether it's human, non-human. He's trying to get us to transcend all of the distinctions that we've made. The categories of reality that we've created. And this just cuts through all of that and says, well, nothing, none of it, absolutely none of it, nothing I see means anything. And you could actually extend this. I haven't because I think it's useful to begin with a visual sense, but nothing I perceive means anything. That's the even truer, isn't it? Nothing I perceive. So that's not just see, but touch, taste, feel, hear, smell. Nothing I perceive means anything. Well, then nothing I see means anything. Because it applies to all of your sense perception. So it's trying to get us to, through this lesson, accept that none of it means anything. Our sense perceptions mean nothing. And then finally, number 4, he's just giving us some practical instructions as to how to practice it. We'll read that.
Each of the first 3 lessons should not be done more than twice a day each, preferably morning and evening, nor should they be attempted for more than a minute or so, unless that entails a sense of hurry. A comfortable sense of leisure is essential.
Comfortable sense of leisure. So if it's rushed, great stress, none of that's what we're trying to do is just get very reflective. You just pause, you do the lesson, you take your time, you dwell on it a bit, and then when you're done, you move on. So initially, he's not asking for very much at all. Okay, so any thoughts on the lesson? Nothing I see means anything.
No.
Have any experiences with it today?
I
When you
didn't really practice.
contemplate again, did you find any resistance? Did you find that practicing it was easier than a year ago?
Oh, yeah. So it is easier, yes, of course. But I'll be honest, I haven't really practiced it too much today. So
Yeah.
when we're going through it now, you can see, it's more clearer at what they're aiming for us to go, where we're going with this.
All right, so shall we actually practice it? Let's let's guide you through a short meditation. So you can just practice it. It's open-eyed, so we'll guide you through it. And we'll end off with closed eyes so we can have a bit of relaxation as well. So this mini meditation is just designed to help you to apply it in and through the meditation. Okay, so just sitting comfortably. Not going to close your eyes to start with. Take a nice deep breath in. And to the lower stomach, a little chest. Upper chest, breathing into the crown of your head. The maximum inhale breath. So look around the room and just say very slowly, nothing I see in this room means anything. Just casually glance around as you say that idea a couple of times. Your own mind. And nothing I see in this room means anything. Exhale on the truth of that. Exhale out through your mouth. Just blowing out any attachment to so you look around and now just practice applying this idea very specifically to whatever you see. So if your eyes happen to rest on, say the object does not mean anything. So pick a, whatever you happen to look at, the table does not mean anything. Just repeat that aloud. Say it to yourself, this chair does not mean anything. This foot does not mean anything. You look at your foot or your hand. This pen does not mean anything. And so on, whatever objects. So then look a bit further afield. At the door, at the window, to the far reaches of the room, look behind you. And just apply it to half a dozen objects. Say it out loud to yourself. That door does not mean anything, for example. That shadow does not mean anything. That heater does not mean anything. Just do that. Apply it to maybe half a dozen other things. Slowly, deliberately say it out loud. And finally, just finish with the overall key idea that nothing I see in this room really means anything. Nothing I see in this room means anything. Nothing I see means anything. So now just contemplate on that. You're going to close your eyes. Just breathing in and out through your nose. Nothing I see really means anything at all. Just contemplate on that idea. You can open your eyes if you want to. As you look around the room, say nothing I see means anything. You close your eyes. That idea to apply to anything that crosses your mind. None of it means anything. Just tell yourself that. Just sink into contemplative state. This idea that nothing I see means anything. Notice how that feels. There really is nothing there. Any specific thoughts, ideas, situations, scenarios come to mind? You've got some problem in your life around a person or situation or object, even a car. You had Dave's car. Just say that car does not mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. What a relief. So none of this means anything. I can just find the peace that's been called the peace of God that surpasses all understanding, beyond all illusions. Which you're highlighting here. The truth is that nothing you see does mean anything. So it's just internalizing and accepting this truth. They're just sinking into the quietness, stillness lies beyond your turbulated mind, is to, through this idea, take you into that state, a non-judgmental state, beyond judgment and perception, and notice how peaceful it is when you stay in that state. If any thoughts come up, seemingly disturb your peace in any way, thinking about objects, people, situations in your life, just breathe into all of that. Imagine, if you like, that you're breathing in pure awareness or perfect light, beautiful golden white light. So nothing I see means anything, including this person, object, situation, whatever it is. And so then apply specifically the idea to that person or situation. Say this, and the name the person does not mean anything, or this. This whatever doesn't mean anything. Tell yourself that. Just exhale. So just gently coming back. In this deep state into an awareness of your body and the breath. Senses in the world. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in. Noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. Remind yourself that nothing I see really means anything. You can open your eyes as you look around. Apply the idea to your inner world as well. So whatever thinking about the ideas, maybe. Nothing I see really means anything. So it is. Exhale the truth of that. Notice how it flows out, chest and stomach suck back in. Right stomach into the spine. Spinal last moving out. And just rest in this so calm, peaceful, aware state. So anchor the state in on the exhale. Notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground. Noticing what you're feeling and touching with your hands. It's a subtle taste in your mouth, smell in your nose. Noticing all these things from this very still, calm, and surrendered state of mind, without any judgment. That's really the key. You notice how peaceful it is without judgment. So now on the count of 3, you're going to just anchor the state in for the rest of the evening, set that intention, and then open your eyes, count of 3. So look around. As you look around, just scanning the room, apply the idea one more time, say nothing that I see in this room really means anything. And apply it specifically to whatever you happen to see. So maybe this table doesn't mean anything, and this chair doesn't mean anything, and this wall doesn't mean anything, and this light doesn't mean anything, and so on. Apply to your body as well. This body doesn't mean anything. This hand doesn't mean anything. There's another person. This person doesn't mean anything. It does not mean anything. So one more time, remind yourself nothing I see really means anything at all. Notice how you're feeling. Being quite calm, peaceful, detached. So that's the point. The idea just helps you get into a more awakened state, which peace, joy, relaxation, these things can all come. So that brings us to the end of the meditation and the workbook lesson. All right, so let's have a little look. Should we have a look at our text reading for today?
To be honest, can I drop off? I'm absolutely shattered now. I'm in a meditative, yeah, do you mind? Yeah, I'm going to just
Okay.
in a relaxed state, so I'd like to
Hmm.
yeah, I'll have a read of it.
Okay, I'll post it to the group.
Great. Okay. Great. Okay.
Thanks.
I'm sort
I'll
of
see
dozy now. Okay.
yeah,
See
see you
you tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Thanks,
Yeah.
John. Good
Shall we
night.
do 6 o'clock tomorrow?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. That
Yeah.
might be good. Yeah.
Start with
Yeah.
it. All right.
Okay. Okay. Namaste.
Namaste. All right, so let's have a look at today's text reading. So this one is called The Origins of Separation. Section 1 of chapter 2 we're on to. So fairly short, just 5 paragraphs. Yeah, I'll share my screen again. So The Origins of Separation, this one's called. So I'll read it in the original, the alternative. So to extend is a fundamental aspect of God, which he gave to his son. Alternatively, to extend is a fundamental aspect of perfect love, which it gave to its extension. In the creation, God extended himself to his creations and imbued them with the same loving will to create. So in being, the formless awareness of perfect love extends itself to its extensions and imbues them with the same loving awareness to extend. So we're being extended by pure formless awareness of perfect love and have the same loving awareness. Same loving will to create is the same loving awareness to extend. Instead of will, we talk about awareness, and extension instead of creation. Okay, so they've not only been fully created, but have also been created perfect. They're not only fully extended, but also extended perfectly. personalize this. So I'm not only fully extended, but I'm also extended perfectly. There's no emptiness in me because of my likeness to my source. Your likeness to your creator, you are creative. It's my likeness to my source. I'm extending. So no child of God can lose this ability. This is inherent in what he is, but he can use it inappropriately by projecting. No extension of perfect love can lose this ability because it's inherent in what they, being the extensions, are. But they can use it inappropriately by projecting. Use this ability inappropriately by projecting it out onto other things and blaming them. Visual says no child of God can lose this ability because it is inherent in what he is, but he can use it inappropriately by projecting. So the inappropriate use of extension or projection occurs when you believe that some emptiness or lack exists in you, and that you can fill it with your own ideas instead of truth. Inappropriate use of extension or projection. So what projection is, and inappropriate use of extension occurs when I believe that some emptiness or lack exists in me, the proper use of extension or projection occurs when I believe that some emptiness or lack exists in me, and I can fill it with my own ideas instead of truth. So this is what happens. We think there's an emptiness or lack, and then instead of just correcting that and saying yes, the process involves the following steps. First, I believe that what God created can be changed by your own mind. It's later at first I believe that what pure form of soul is a perfect love extended can be changed by my own mind. So these are some of the distortions. Second, to believe that what is perfect can be made imperfect or lacking. Second, I believe. So second, I believe that what is perfect can be made imperfect or lacking. These are the errors that we make. Third, I believe that. Third, you believe the original, but you can distort the creations of God, including yourself. Third, I believe that I can distort the extensions of perfect love, including myself. And fourth, I believe that I can invent myself. Fourth, I believe that I can invent myself in the direction of your own creation is up to you. The direction of my own making is up to me. So those are the laws. First, I believe that these are the illusions on which the projection happens. Deny the truth. First, I believe that what your formless to one is a perfect love extends, maybe instead of extended, extends, can be changed by my own mind. Second, I believe that what is perfect can be made imperfect or lacking. Third, make it firstly. Second, I believe that what is perfect can be made imperfect or lacking. Well, how's that possible? This is the upside down thought system of the ego. Third, thirdly, I believe that I can distort the extensions of perfect love, including myself. So thirdly, I believe that I can distort the extensions of perfect love, including myself. And fourth, I believe that I can invent myself. The direction of my own making is up me. So all of these are about taking personal autonomy. Instead of accepting the truth as it is, we think that we can invent it. We can create ourselves. We can create our reality. This is all erroneous. This is false. Yeah, so let's move on to number 2. So these related distortions represent a picture of what actually occurred in the separation or the detour into fear. So related distorted beliefs represent a picture of what seemed to occur in the separation. And a picture of what seemed to occur in the separation or the detour into fear. When none of this existed for the separation, nor does it actually exist now. None of this existed before the separation, nor does it actually exist now. None of this existed before the separation, nor does it actually exist now. He's really saying fundamentally it doesn't exist. We just have to recognize that. It seems to exist, but seeming and reality are not true. Everything God created is like Him. Everything that God created is like Him. Everything full awareness of perfect love extends is like itself. Everything pure formless awareness of perfect love extends is like itself. Extension is undertaken by God is similar to the inner radiance that the children of the Father inherit from Him. Extension is undertaken by pure formless awareness of perfect love is similar to the inner radiance. Extension is undertaken by pure formless awareness of perfect love is similar to the inner radiance that the extensions of the source. Extension's real source is internal. Creation's real source is internal. In a sense, the creation is both the creation of the Son by God extension's real source is internal. This is true of the extensions of the source. In this sense, extension includes both the extension by pure forms, awareness, perfect love, and the extensions of the sentence. Since extension includes both extension and extension by pure forms, awareness, perfect love, and the extensions when its mind is healed. And this is true of the Son as of the Father. In this sense, the creation includes both the creation of the Son by God and the Son's creation. So it's more as it's giving us some encouragement and hope here. When our mind is healed, then we see everyone as one. Requires God's endowment of the Son with free will, because all love and creation is freely given in one continuous line, all aspects of the same order. This requires pure formless awareness, perfect love's endowment of the extension with free awareness. This requires pure formless awareness, the perfect love's endowment of the extension with free awareness. Free will, because all loving extension all the loving extensions this requires pure formless awareness and perfect love's endowment and extension with free awareness, because all loving extensions is freely given in one continuous line, which all aspects of the same order of reality. So it's really saying here that all aspects are in the same order of reality. We need to unify them and get over the idea that we are separate. The ego is keenly sponsored. Yes, moving on to number 3, the Garden of Eden, or the pre-separation condition. That's what it means. It was a state of mind in which nothing was needed. When Adam listened to the lies of the serpent, all he heard was untrue, untruth. The lies of the serpent. Serpent is the deceiver, and all we heard is false. I do not have to continue to believe what is false. I do not have to continue to believe what is false unless I choose to do so. All that can literally disappear in the twinkling of an eye because it's merely a misperception. All this can literally disappear in a moment because it is merely a misperception. What is perceived in dreams seems to be very real. So, as he's saying here, dreams can be very real. The Bible says that a deep sleep fell upon Adam, and there is their reference to his waking up, which is very true. What is perceived in dreams seems to be very real. The Bible says that a deep sleep fell upon Adam, nowhere is there reference to his waking up, which is true. The world has not yet experienced any comprehensive reawakening or rebirth. Such a rebirth is impossible as long as you continue to project or miscreate. Like that first, as long as I continue to project or miscreate. The world's not yet experienced any comprehensive reawakening or rebirth. Such a rebirth is impossible as long as I continue to project or miscreate. However, I still have the power to extend. As God extended his spirit to you, so the power to extend as pure form, so as perfect love extends. However, I still have the power to extend as pure form, so as perfect love extends its awareness freely to me. In reality, so that power to extend as pure form, so as perfect love extends its awareness to me. So as I'm extended, I have the power to extend. And the original still remains within you, however, to extend as God extended his spirit to you. In reality, this is your only choice because your free will is given you for your joy in creating the perfect. In reality, this is your only choice because your free will was given you for your joy in creating the perfect. So in reality, capital R, this is my only choice because free awareness was given to me for my joy in extending the perfect. So from the top, the Garden of Eden, or the pre-separation condition, was a state of mind which nothing was needed. When Adam listened to the lies of the serpent, all he heard was false. I do not have to continue to believe what is false unless I choose to do so. All this can literally disappear in a moment because it is merely a misperception. What is perceived in dreams seems to be very real. I perceive in dreams seems to be very real. Yet the Bible says that a deep sleep fell upon Adam, and nor is there reference to his waking up. Very true. So the world has not yet experienced any comprehensive reawakening or rebirth. Such a rebirth is impossible as long as I continue to project or miscreate. However, I still have the power to extend as pure forms whereas perfect love extends. Its awareness to me. In reality, this is my only choice because my free awareness was given to me. My free will was given to me for my joy in extending the perfect. So in summary, saying, actually, we're still all asleep. Been that for a very long time, but so in reality, this is my only choice because in the end, I realized this is all I have. My free awareness was given to me for my joy in extending the perfect. So, although there seems to be some kind of compulsion, it's purely willing. We decide for this and we follow it away. Okay, so let's move on to number 4. All fear is ultimately reducible to the basic misperception that you have the ability to usurp the power of God. All fear is ultimately caused by the basic misperception that I have the ability to replace all fear is ultimately caused by the basic misperception that I have the ability to replace the power of perfect love. Of course, I neither can nor have been able to do this. There is a real basis for my escape from fear. Escape is brought about by my acceptance of the atonement, the one-ment, as we say, which enables me to realize that my errors never really occurred. They say I neither can or have been able to do this, to replace the power of perfect love. Here's the real basis for my escape from fear. This escape is brought about by my acceptance of that one-ment, which enables me to realize that my errors never really occurred. Only after the deep sleep fell upon Adam. When after deep sleep fell upon Adam, could he experience nightmares? If a light is suddenly turned on while someone is dreaming a fearful dream, he may initially interpret the light itself as part of his dream and be afraid of it. However, when he awakens, the light is correctly perceived as released from the dream. The light is suddenly turned on while someone is dreaming a fearful dream, may initially interpret the light itself part of his dream and be afraid of it. We probably will have that experience when we dream. Light goes on maybe externally, but we dream that that's the case in the dream. However, when he awakens, the light is correctly when he awakens, the light is correctly perceived as a release from the dream, which is then no longer given reality. So release does not depend on illusions. So this release does not depend on illusions. The knowledge that illuminates not only sets me free, but also shows me clearly that I am free. From the top, so all fear is ultimately caused by the basic misperception that I have the ability to replace the power of perfect love. Of course, neither can nor have been able to do this. There is a real basis for my escape from fear. Escape is brought about by my acceptance of it one-ment, which enables me to realize that my evers never really occurred. Only after the deep sleep fell upon Adam could he experience nightmares. The light is suddenly turned on while someone is dreaming a fearful dream. He may initially interpret the light as part of his dream and be afraid of it. However, when he awakens, the light is correctly perceived. It's released from the dream, which is then no longer given reality. This release does not depend on illusions. And this release does not depend on illusions. He's very clear. Knowledge that illuminates not only sets me free, but also shows me clearly that I am free. Saying that this overcoming our fear, embracing this knowledge and doing means that no illusions will sustain. Knowledge is beyond these, it sets me free, but also shows me clearly that I am free. So highlighting the illusory nature of the dream, but that there is a way out of it. We can transcend it. So whatever lies you may believe of no concern to the miracle, which can heal all of them with equal ease. Whatever lies you may believe of no concern to the miracle, which can heal any of them with equal ease. Whatever lies I may believe of no concern to the correction, which can let go of all of them. Whatever lies I believe of no concern to the miracle or the correction, which can let go of any of them with equal ease. So whatever lies I may believe, no concern to the correction, which can let go of any of them with equal ease. Whatever lies I may believe of no concern to corrections, we can let go of any of them with equal ease. Corrections make no distinction among misperceptions. Their sole concern is to distinguish between truth on the one hand and error on the other. Some corrections may seem to be of greater magnitude than others, but remember the first principle in this course. There is no order of difficulty in corrections. Fundamental premise. Remember the first principle in this course that there is no order of difficulty in corrections. In reality, say, but I should remember. In reality, I'm perfectly unaffected by all expressions of lack of love. These can be from myself and others, from myself to others, or from others to me. Some corrections may seem to have greater magnitude than others, but I should remember the first principle in this course. There is no order of difficulty in corrections. In reality, I'm perfectly unaffected by all expressions of lack of love. These can be from myself and others, from myself to others, or from others to me. This is an attribute in me. I cannot find it outside. Illness is some form of external searching. Health is inner peace. Peace is an attribute in me. I cannot find it outside. Illness is some form of external searching. Health is inner peace. Very profound. Illness is all about external searching. We crave, as the Buddha called it, we crave and we desire, and we keep searching and searching and never finding fulfillment because we've set it up that way. The ongoing search means that we can't find fulfillment. Health is inner peace. Illness is some form of external searching. It enables me to remain unshaken by lack of love from without and capable through my acceptance of corrections, of correcting the conditions resulting from lack of love in others. The corrections just don't take account of any of the distinctions that we believe in. It's a blanket correction. To bring us back into our sane mind. So this is what he's saying. Actually, stop searching and we'll find the answer within us. When I accept corrections, then I can correct the conditions resulting from lack of love in myself and others. New messages in section R. So let's go to the summary. Personalized executive summary. New messages in section R. I extend inappropriate or project. When I believe some emptiness or lack exists in me, and that I can fill it with my own ideas instead of truth. Stand inappropriately or project when I believe some emptiness or lack exists in me, and that I can fill it with my own ideas instead of truth. Adam fell asleep and did not awaken, which is symbolic of humanity, still being asleep and dreaming. We're really human when in reality we have and are the pure formless awareness of perfect love. I still have the power to extend as pure formless awareness of perfect love extends its awareness to me. In reality, this is my only choice, because this awareness was given to me freely to experience joy through extending it. My fear comes from love, but I cannot really do this. And so all my nightmares that come from the separation are unreal. I can let go of them and be free. There's no magnitude or order of difficulty. Fear comes from a misperception. I have the ability to replace the power of perfect love, but I cannot really do this. So all my nightmares that come from the separation are unreal, and I can let go of them and be free. There's no magnitude or order of difficulty in miracles or corrections, because they are all internal changes of mind. I will be ill. No magnitude or order of difficulty in miracles or corrections, because they are all internal changes of mind. I will be ill as long as I continue searching. I'll be ill as long as I continue searching externally, and healthy when I experience inner peace that enables me to remain unshaken by lack of love from outside me, and capable of correcting the results of lack of love in others. So there's no magnitude or order of difficulty in corrections because they're all internal changes of mind. I'll be ill as long as I continue searching externally, and healthy when I experience inner peace that enables me to remain unshaken by lack of love from outside me and capable of correcting the results of lack of love in others. It could be the whole summary, really. Yeah, so just to wrap it up. We'll send this out as well to the group. Yeah, let's just see if we can. All right. So the key message is there's no magnitude or order of difficulty in corrections. So they're all internal changes of mind. I will be ill as long as I continue searching externally, and healthy when I experience inner peace. Enables me to remain unshaken. There's no magnitude or order of difficulty in corrections because they're all internal changes of mind. I will be ill as long as I continue searching externally and healthy when I experience inner peace. It enables me to remain unshaken by a lack of love from outside me and capable of correcting results of lack of love in others. And that is really the key message. We can make the corrections. There's no order of difficulty in them. If we don't, we continue searching externally, then we will suffer. And ultimately die. But the Spirit saves us from that fate, helping us to recognize that is not true. Okay, so I think that's a wrap for today. I'm just going to read the summary one more time. So I extend inappropriately or project when I believe that some emptiness or lack exists in me and that I can fill it with my own ideas instead of truth. Adam fell asleep and did not awaken, just symbolic of humanity. Adam fell asleep and never really woke up. Just symbolic of humanity still being asleep and dreaming. Not really human when in reality we have and are pure form source, perfect love. And fell asleep and never really woke up, which is symbolic of humanity still being asleep and dreaming. Not really human when in reality we have and are the pure form source of perfect love. I still have the power to extend as pure forms. When is the perfect love extend? Its awareness to me. In reality, this is my its joy through extending it. My fear comes from my misperception that I have the ability to replace the power of perfect love, but I cannot really do this. So all my nightmares that come from the separation are unreal, and I can let go of them and be free. There's no magnitude or order of difficulty in corrections because they're all internal changes of mind. I'll be ill as long as I continue searching, externally unhealthy when I experience inner peace. It enables me to remain unshaken by lack of love from outside me and capable of correcting results of lack of love in others. And that is the key message. There is no magnitude or order of difficulty in corrections because they are all internal changes of mind. I will be ill as long as I continue searching externally and healthy when I experience inner peace. It enables me to remain unshaken by lack of love from outside me. Capable of correcting results of lack of love in others. So, very cool. Miracle allows us to correct our mindset, let go of our errors, and free ourselves from all illusions, really wake up. Part of the great awakening that's happening. So, speaking of awakening, I think I need to go to sleep now. So let's call the session to an end. Thank you for joining, Elaine. If you enjoyed this live session, you can subscribe to the channel to get more of this. Live stream 6 days a week on YouTube. So just hit the subscribe button to do that. And you can also join us for our next masterclass this Sunday. So go to theaolg.com to find out more about that and register for this free masterclass. Finally, you can get sent some of the material I shared up front, the daily quotes, the daily lesson, and my commentary on it with some other resources by going to lifebuild.com, lifebuild.com, and do your thing there, sign up, and make sure you put in your mobile number, choose for Telegram, and I'll send you a daily message free of charge via Telegram. So take the next step, join us, and I hope to connect with you soon. Thanks for listening and watching, and namaste, which means the truth in me acknowledges and honors that same truth in you. Peace.